long time since we've been able to get to theme parks, but finally the day has come. It is the 4th of July, which not only means that it's going to be, well, American Independence Day, but it also means that we can now come to theme parks. And here we are today at Chessington. We're going to walk around, we're going to soak up the atmosphere, see what's going on, see what's happening. You guys can come along with me. I've got my mask on today, and we're just going to see what changes we can expect for the rest of the 2020 season. So come along today as we explore what's going on here at Chessington World of Adventures. It is so quiet here today. I don't think I've ever seen this part of the park. It's so dead. I mean, there's a huge lack of people here. There's a couple of rides going, a few people enjoying themselves, but honestly, I didn't think to expect it to see this quiet. So it's super interesting to see the atmosphere here. It's really, really quiet. It doesn't. I've actually made a mistake. I came in this morning thinking like, oh, I need to wear my mask, but it doesn't seem from being here that really anyone's wearing a mask or really anything happened in the country. It's really weird, really strange. But there we go. I guess everyone's enjoying a bit of normality, which I think is probably quite important now, you know. But hey, I'll tell you what, let's go and continue exploring. I think we're going to head this way to Rattlesnake because why not? So you can kind of see here, entering the main plaza, just how quiet it is. Everything happening just over there, that's Rattlesnake. I think we're going to head there next. I've just had my first ride back of the season, my first coaster back for 2020. I've got to say, it's fantastic. It was so good to get back on it, to get back on one of my favourite classics, Rattlesnake. It's fantastic. I will say the operations are quite interesting. Obviously, because they've got to clean the cars down, it does somewhat slow down the queue lines and the queue times. But I mean, you know, with the situation that we're dealing with here in the UK and all over the world with COVID still being a very apparent thing, you know, when you come to theme parks, do expect that if you're going to be going and you're going to be wanting to hit those coasters up, then you are going to have to wait a little bit longer. But that should be something that should really be expected if you want to come to theme parks. If you don't want to deal with the wait and you don't want to deal with the extra waiting time for whatever reason, then simply you're just going to have to wait until all the restrictions and COVID passes. Who knows how long that is going to be. So like I said, great time, great ride, I loved it, but just expect that when you have when you come to these parks, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. One of the questions that people could be thinking is what's happening about Toon Blaster. You know, we know that dark rides and rides that require us to be inside haven't necessarily opened yet, so how does that affect Toon Blaster? But let's go over and have a quick look over by Toon Blaster to see what the current situation is with that. We know there is going to be the drop tower in here. That hasn't been confirmed necessarily, but it's heavily rumoured. But it's interesting to see, just by blocking off the Ramesses Revenge area, how much of the space it takes up. Also, side note, if you want to get food here, you're going to have to wait in a very long line, that's for sure. Toon Blaster is open. Now, that kind of begs the question, if Toon Blaster is open, how come Room on the Broom isn't open? Because they're both inside attractions. And now that we've seen inside attractions open in some Merlin parks, will that beg the question of, will inside attractions open to other parks? Okay, so the new addition for 2020 is obviously the rainforest area. Definitely keen to see what that's like. So why don't we head over there now? Come along as we go to the rainforest area. Okay, so we're just outside the new rainforest area. Quite interesting. It seems a little bit lackluster on the theming. I don't know if that's me being picky. Is that me being picky? Maybe. So what's interesting to see is there isn't actually much entertainment on. What is noticeable though is that you've seen in other parks that they do character meet and greets, and things like that where they have characters on stage. I can't understand why the park potentially couldn't do meet and greets with the characters on the stage. That'd be pretty cool, and it'd be just another interaction and another way of guests to enjoy their day. So we've had a good wander of the park. We've seen kind of the new updates and what's going on for the 2020 or the rest of the 2020 season. But now I think it's time to go ahead and ride another ride. I think, why don't we go ahead and go on an absolute John Wilding classic. It's time to go back and ride Vampire. Oh, I can't wait. What a fantastic ride on Vampire, honestly. It was so good to get back on there. What a smooth coaster that is, and there's so many times that we underestimate it as well. I also want to say, you know, they're really trying hard as best they can with the operation that they're trying to run at the moment, you know, with their cleaning of the trains, and they're doing it a fairly smooth job. Yeah, there's going to be hiccups here and there, but by and large it's fantastic. I want to give a big shout out to Will, who is the area ride manager as well, because when the ride unfortunately did go down, just for a minor temp delay, he was really good. He went over to every individual group that was waiting in the air gates, explained the situation. He even came up to me and found out that I was a bit of a coaster geek and explained the specifics of what was actually going on with the mechanics of the coaster. So great communication there. That was awesome. Will, if you're watching, thank you so much. What a great ride to get back on. We're going to head on into the park now and continue. So one thing to note here over in Wild Asia is that everyone's favorite Cobra is actually not running at the moment. So while you've got your bump cars, you've got your bus, and you've got monkey swingers, or Billy's Wizard as I'll always know it, it's important to remember that unfortunately Cobra is not operating. Will it open later on in this season? Quite possibly, who knows. But just remember, if you're coming to Wild Asia, don't expect your disco. You know, if you're one that doesn't like crowds, then now is your perfect time to come to a theme park if you feel safe enough to do so. Because there are literally no crowds. I mean, you have so much space here. The only thing is the lines are going to be longer, like we've talked about. But in terms of crowd levels, it's so quiet. Well, I think that pretty much wraps up our day here at Chessington. I want to say a big shout out to Merlin actually for opening all their parks. You know, it's been a crazy time recently that we've all had to deal with. But Merlin are there in the forefront, ready to open, ready to give everyone a day of escapism, theming wonderful rides and attractions as per usual. So just a big thank you and congratulations to Merlin for starting their operation back up. I know a lot of theme parks around the country are opening, or at least trying to open in the next coming weeks. I think that's fantastic. Guys, if you can get out to your local park, support your local theme park, wherever it may be, do it. Because really the leisure industry needs you more now than ever before. So I've had a great day here. It's been so much fun. Thank you very much for coming along with me. As usual, you can find me on the handle that's at Cine-Vlog. Find everything going on there on our Instagram, and of course across on the Theme Park Loopy page too.